Coach, first things first, you coached in this division for half the division, in fact, with the Jets and the Bills. How much of the blame does Bill Belichick deserve for this 2-5 start?
Well, I think Bill Belichick, the GM, maybe he doesn't have that title, deserves a lot of the blame. And the reason for it is this team, when Tom Brady walked out the door, people never realized that kind of impact. Tom Brady wasn't done as a quarterback. We're seeing it the way he plays in Tampa, but we're also seeing his impact here. This team is short on weapons, and they brought in Cam Newton. Hey, look, I don't blame him. It was a great effort, because if Cam was half the player he once was, then their record wouldn't be 2-5. Unfortunately, he's not. And look, they played about as good as you can play yesterday. They did what they had to do. A brilliant coaching job. They went to straight ground and pound. That's going to give you the best opportunity to win, but they came up short. They just don't have the talent anymore.
Rex, so with no talent right now, but still an outside slight chance at making the wild card, do you give them any bounce back at all?
No, I mean, Keyshawn, this is remember the Alamo, because it's over. It's flat out over. They're 4 games behind Buffalo, really 4.5 games behind them, because they lost the head-to-head battle. And they're not going to win the wild card. They're not going to do a wild card. So, yeah, look, the playoff run is over, and pass the torch to the Buffalo Bills. And it'll be interesting. I think they're going to end up being behind Miami when it's all said and done as well. So we'll see. But this is what I thought was coming. And I told everybody that they had no weapons for the last 3 years, but they had the greatest player in the history of our game in Tom Brady. And for somebody, you see how great he is? He took this team to the playoffs and actually won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. So to me, it just shows also that the greatest player in the game has a hell of a lot bigger impact than the greatest coach in the game.
Well, now that we know that you stuck a fork in them, they're done. And I think the rest of them, they are done for sure based on what you just said there, Rex. Now that you look at Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, an organization that you have some familiarity with, he hasn't quite gotten it done through the air, as we saw yesterday against Pittsburgh. What's the problem with the passing game in the Ravens?
Well, Key, it's a great question. I mean, look, this is a team, and you're right, I spent 10 years there as an assistant coach. But this team, he doesn't have to be that guy. If you're forcing him, you're forcing a square peg into a round hole, that's not who he is. This is the guy that won more games than anybody last year in the regular season. So don't apologize for who he is. All right, to me, it's one of these things. Lamar, if that dude's open, hit him with it. If he's not open, then look, they're not great. They don't have any weapons anyway, but you're the weapon. Then you're the most lethal weapon in the National Football League. Use your legs, and it's okay to use them. This guy's a huge man that he knows how to protect himself. He's going to be different than anybody else. He can protect. This isn't that little guy that played at Washington, that couldn't protect himself. This is a different kind of guy. So you don't have to be like everybody else. He's never going to be Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. He's just not. Could he improve? Yeah, absolutely. But, man, don't make this guy a pocket quarterback. And I think when the Ravens struggle the most is when they force him to be that type of guy. He's not ready for that right now.
Rexy, did you walk away from yesterday's game saying, oh, the Steelers are that much better than the Ravens?
No, JWill, I walked away doing just the opposite.
Thank you.
The Ravens outgained the Steelers 2-1. 2-1. They pummeled them. They beat them up all over the place. And generally, 9 times out of 10, the most physical team's going to win that matchup. The Ravens were the more physical team. They should have won the game. Unfortunately, Lamar had the 2 huge interceptions, and he's right. He took the blame himself, and that's why I love this kid, by the way. But the better team never won that game, in my opinion. But we're going to see it 3 times. We're going to see this matchup 2 more times this year.
Rex, where do the Ravens fall in the AFC? They just lost to Pittsburgh yesterday. Kansas City is there, obviously. Indy's playing the way they're playing. The Raiders are trying to bounce around. Where do the Ravens fall?
Well, see, Key, I still have them as in the top 3. I really do. And, I mean, you got Kansas City, you got Pittsburgh, and you got the Ravens. And to me, nothing yesterday. Yes, I know they lost the game. And people want to dismiss them. They're going to put them down. Hey, you know what, are you going to put Buffalo ahead of them? But they'll run for 500 yards against Buffalo.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like I can't do that. Tennessee, they just got beat by Cincinnati. Indianapolis, Phillip Rivers is great when he doesn't turn the ball over, but you're going to bank on that? I'm not. So I'd still put them in the top 3 and probably the 3rd position.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.